We want to move now to politics. 12 days until the inauguration of Donald J. Trump. Meanwhile, as Barack Obama prepares to leave office, he sat down with ABC News chief anchor George Stephanopoulos for an exit interview. George will be dedicating an entire episode of This Week to the interview later this morning, but he's here now with a preview. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, we spent Friday afternoon in the Oval Office for an hour as the president looked back on his legacy. But as you were talking about, these are busy times right now, and we actually sat down just moments after the intelligence community released that report, concluding that Vladimir Putin ordered the interference in our elections. And one of the things we talked about was how earlier in the day, President-elect Trump had called all of this focus on Russian hacking a political witch hunt.
We've seen a lot of commentary lately where there were Republicans or pundits or cable commentators who seem to have more confidence in Vladimir Putin than fellow Americans because those fellow Americans are Democrats. That cannot be.
Does that include the president-elect?
What I will say is that, and I said this right after the election, we have to remind ourselves we're on the same team. Vladimir Putin's not on our team.
So you see the president being pretty careful right there, not
sure.
to call out President-elect Trump, but he did sound a warning about Russia's activities across the board, ramping up their competition with the United States, especially in this area of cyber warfare.
You also explored some personal terrain with the president. He talked about raising his daughters in the White House. We know that Malia is going off to college, to Harvard, but what are his thoughts?
And they're staying in Washington, D.C. for at least another year because Sasha is finishing high school. And really the question I wanted to ask him was, it's so hard to raise kids anywhere. I was wondering if actually being in the White House had been good for those girls. Here's what he said.
Say is they have turned out to be terrific young women. We were concerned mostly about whether they develop an attitude, right?
How not, yeah.
And they are, sweet, kind, funny, smart, respectful people. And they treat everybody with respect. That's not just the biases of a parent. We feel pretty good when we hear back from friends because they still have sleepovers and they go to other folks' houses. And when the parents say, oh, Malia, she's just so sweet, or Sasha helped to pick up the dishes. What is it that you're doing?
He also did say that the Secret Service helped enforce his discipline, and the girls didn't always appreciate that. And you see that corridor there, that's actually his commute right now. That's the corridor between the residence and the Oval Office.
I mean, just looking at that atmosphere in which he's standing, I can't imagine how you would raise children there without imbuing them with an attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. But as he said, they seem to have turned out pretty great.
And just quickly, listening to him talk and walk that fine line between criticizing the president-elect and not criticizing him, do you think he's going to be a vocal post-president, or will he recede into the private sector?
Well, I think one of the things you'll see here, I don't think he's going to recede anywhere. I think that's pretty clear. I mean, and we talked a lot about Donald Trump, and he revealed a little bit more about the phone conversations they've been having over the course of the transition, both what has impressed him about Donald Trump and what he's worried about. And he did say very explicitly that Donald Trump's victory has changed what he's going to do in the days coming out of the White House, especially activity inside the Democratic Party. I think how vocal he'll be will depend on exactly what Donald Trump does, but I don't think he's going to recede at all.
I would love to listen to those phone calls between him and Donald Trump.
Would, yeah.
George, thank you.
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
it. And a reminder, George has a big show this morning. You can see his full interview with President Obama from the Oval Office coming up later this morning on This Week. That's right here on ABC. Thanks again, George.